Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sam and I have been busy at work, sanding all morning. Took several coats of the filler and sanding it off, and then screwing from underneath and gluing and getting that whole crack situation fixed. I think it's fixed. We will find out in the long run, but we're really close to doing our final coat of sanding and onto the actual staining. So while we do staining, we wanted to make the most of it and stain a bunch of other stuff and need staining at the same time, and then varnish it all at the same time, and you know, get a lot of work done. So we're sanding the windows, and we're gonna stain them, and we're staining and staining and staining. It'll look great. Alright, so it's been a good afternoon. We've got some coats of stain on. Sam's idea to round this corner I kind of really like. Round it off this edge. I was going to make it kind of like with a hard lip all the way around it, but it's such a small surface. You know, it's kind of nice. I like that. And we got the two windows on the sides that are going to open. They're stained now, which is cool. And I think all this wood up the front we're going to stain eventually too, so there'll be a lot more sanding to do eventually. But we got the whole port side counter done. Looks good, eh? Yeah. So one of the side effects of staining is that now we really don't want to be making any dust. In fact, it'd be better if we weren't here at all. So we're going to go for a quick little hike, and we'll be back in like an hour, and it'll dry off. And we'll lay on some more stuff, and then we'll make dinner and watch a movie, and everything will be chill.
Oh yeah. Like a cigarette right there.
Yeah, it just like got up and walked away one day.
That's crazy.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
And like, they've all sealed it up with this plastic, obviously, you know, they don't want anyone messing with it.
Yeah.
Like, look at the curtains, they're still there.
Well, barely.
Barely, but...
Fucking plastic too, that's weird.
Yeah.
There's like a...
Anything in the fridge? Oh, there's freaking beer in there.
Some paint. Serve
There you go.
Ooh, have to fix something to jump out. Oh look, it's a washboard. It's for washing clothes. Another room. It's like a 2-bedroom. Nice.
Jeez, only $250,000.
Steel. Weird. Look at martini.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Oh, good. Some tonic water. Unopened. Still good. But oh, a good hat. Definitely want to put that on. Oh, we got 3. Cute. Look at this little thing. I can't. The raccoons are always so cute to me.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, we said goodbye to our little raccoon buddy, and we're back on the boat. We've laid a coat of the varnish, and it's exciting because I've got window frames varnished, which is, yeah, they look great. They look really, really good. The stains come out really, really nice on this, because this stuff is all actually fur. but it makes it look like cedar, kinda. Although there's no mistaking these big thick lines over here. That's definitely fir. But I mean, you know, it's the right color anyway. So we're gonna let these bake off, and we're going to have dinner over a campfire. Probably the last one of the season because the fire bans are coming soon. Which brings up our little sponsored piece of equipment that came in today, and I have no counter to open it up on. Sam, you're gonna have to hold it.
It's a grill. Okay. It's a grill, so.
So you guys might remember a year ago I got the first prototype ever of the Ghetto Stay Out grill, which was this collapsible traveling grill. They've sent me their newest version, which is all marine ready, it's all camping ready, and it's a huge improvement over the first version. Check this out.
Oh, nice.
All stainless.
This is a really nice.
Hammered out of one piece. Isn't that rad?
Square like that? It's sick.
Yeah, and they've done away with the nylon nuts that we had problems with before. And this won't rust the way that my other one has rusted. So let's cut this open. Let's go try this thing out.
Yeah,
Well, maybe if you weren't setting it up in your arms.
Yeah. You can drop it on an angle, 3 different angles.
Oh, I'm not used to this much choice.
Yes. There you
Down
go. See,
off
like
in
that's
the
kind of cool.
That's, yeah, it's got a slant to it. It's got a lowrider vibe.
Yeah, it looks like a spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler alert. That thing has got
It's the
3 settings.
Mitsubishi got a little spoiler on it. Just like everybody cheers for everybody.
So the grill is also good for holding other cooking accoutrements. Toby's making,
Burnt that.
well, some toast.
I'm making conveyance for butter.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, nice. You noticing?
Oh yeah, I've never even used those.
It's taking a little out, I guess. So good. I usually think that the
This is
melt's
Toby's
small.
butter melting scheme.
We have this. We've got some chili, garlic, paprika, coffee, brown sugar mix. And
Old-fashioned butter.
what corn on the cob would be complete without butter?
No, no.
Mixed in a garlic press.
Not
Boiled
one.
over an open
That's
fire.
not garlic. That's
Actually,
a,
no, it's
that's
for
a
the
zest.
Zester.
Zester.
Zester for citrus.
Well,
No,
it's-
not a
It's a butterer now.
It's a
not
thingy.
zester.
Okay, let's try not to get burned here.
Watch the butter.
No, it's melting, guys. It's melting. Holy crap. Add that beauty. Actually, so bring your little thing.
Alright, good morning. This buzzing noise you're hearing is a re-evaluation, reloading of the water maker since it's practically drought season upon us. I figured it's a good time for me to start making my own water here and really focusing on that. So thank you to everyone who's been hitting up the wish list. We've got a bunch of new components here that help us flush this system out because yeah, it wasn't built right the first time, which is a typical Simon thing to do, but I'm learning a lot. Anyways, so since I'm redoing this, I figured I would set this all up on some Wi-Fi enabled relays. So we're using the Sonoff 4-channel relay here, as you can see. And even though I'm not currently connected to my network, it's got manual override, so I can turn these systems on and off with these buttons right here. So that's pretty handy. So I do have like this manual override, and of course, you know, I can always patch a patch cord in and cut out the middleman. But ideally, I would be able to flick this system on from bed and eventually get a way of leveling out. The last piece I gotta do would be this little pressure control valve right here. That valve is still very, very much manual, so it would be nice to have a sister digital version of that I could control over the network, so that I could control the pressure of this system and make sure that it runs optimally, and then I can flick it on from wherever and whenever as power becomes available here on the boat. So nice to have a little system like that. But while I've been busy basically bashing my head against the wall and cramming my fingers into small electrical sockets, Sam's been upstairs redoing the... How many coats are you in?
I don't know, I lost count.
Lost count of how many coats we're in, but we're on the second last coat, because we're gonna do some sanding on this coat and then do a final coat on top of that. So let's show you just how good that looks. Basically, it's like a candy factory up here. So smooth. So it's smooth to the touch. There's these little, you can see like little nicks, and I can pick those nicks off of my fingers right now, which means it's still quite soft. So I can't sand it for probably another 8 hours. So we probably won't be sanding this till tomorrow morning, but functionally it's dry enough for us to not use, but at least we don't have to worry about stumbling into it.
Yeah,
you proud of that?
Yeah, sprits are really soft already. It's really nice.
Oh yeah.
Look at that right there.
Looks
It's
so
nice.
good. The glossy means you can see all of my little mistakes in the sanding, but not too many. It's alright.
Nah, whatever.
Manageable amount.
It's characteristic.
Yeah. Characteristics of the flaws in my system. So everything that's on this counter will eventually be able to migrate over to the other counter, which will be nice.
Ooh.
And then I can just shove my problems from one end of the boat to the other. Speaking of what's not a problem, look at these windows. That's gonna look great.
Put a crumb on this one.
What do you think about doing the entire front end of the boat with that stain and that varnish?
Out here?
Yeah, all that stuff out there too.
Yeah, I would have to clear it off, make it easy to access, and make sure the windows are in properly and stuff, and then do it.
They also still need some caulking on some of those windows, but
Yeah.
you're getting there. But as for the next task, you said varnish the counter first. That was the first MMO. We got the sink in.
That's
We've got
huge.
the water maker sort of running.
Yeah, and I'm moving the fridge back.
Move the fridge, clear up the space, and then what's next on the SAM docket? Is it...
Table.
We're going to build a table next.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Right.
Nice to have another surface almost.
Yeah, I can fill that up with garbage too.
Exactly.
Perfect.
You can also just more. You can eat off not your just your knees. You can actually eat off.
What, other
something.
people eat off other stuff?
Yeah, apparently people like eat at tables. I don't know, but you know, dirt squirrels like us just eat on.
What a bunch of uncivilized swine.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of uncivilized swine, check out the gloss job on those spice racks. Sam just did them. And of course we've got, are these nice and dry? Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the cleats we're putting on. So those are real slick. So I fished up this piece of teak. I think I got it out of the back of one of Vern's sheds. We did a sand job and a cleanup job. Maybe you can't tell because of the coloration of the video, but look at this. Oh, so that was in the back of one of Vern's yard shops, and with that same, this is the same stain and the same varnish, but since it's actually teak, it comes out with this great kind of like super dark, almost striping here. Oh, I love it. So great. And we're gonna get out, stretch our legs, do a little hike, and enjoy what we've missed so far. It's a very beautiful day that we've pretty much wasted all on working here on the boat and painting things.
The craziest shit is when you're like really drunk and it's like.
I want to have a vaginal experience there.
Yeah. Oh, you can go through it too.
Yeah, but there's like a whole chasm inside. It's like Narnia. You go in there and a witch takes you, and then there's truffles involved. Turkish delight. Some of your friends turn into statues.
those screws are like more visible.
Oh
Or
yeah.
now they're not at all. It's like totally it's more of like a divot. It's kind of nice how it like smooths it out.
This stuff lays on way smoother than the epoxy did.
Always ladies and Chick-fil-A's.
Good morning. We laid on the final coat there, port side counter, and final coat for all the varnishing for the next few days anyways. The next task today is to get ourselves some material for a table and get that party started. Before we do, I've got a couple chores in the bay to do. Mainly I gotta go take pictures of Mike's boat because he's finally decided to sell it. We're gonna get rid of it, and hopefully by the time this video posts it's sold, but you never know. So if you're interested, here's Mike's boat. There you go.
I like
The beautiful blues. It's a Kismet design. Door open and shut. There you go. Anyway, down we go.
big. It's much deeper than I thought. That's a shitter. Beauty. Cute.
So you got headroom. Stand up straight. Oh,
Do you
that's
not
like.
have headroom?
No, I'm 6.5 feet. You're how tall? 5'10"? 5'11".
Yeah.
Okay, so then that means you got 6 foot standing room in the middle.
Yeah.
That's nice. I would totally, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, just jump on this boat, drop a bunch of solar panels on it, put an electric motor in the back, and be off.
Yeah,
Because it really doesn't take much power to move one of these things. So this boat actually has an extension on it, which extends the back end out a little bit further, enough to fit one more berth back there. So you've got one berth ahead, use your main companionway. You got a wood stove. It's set up to run propane, and you've got a small 12-volt system on board. You've got 2 more berths, quarter berths on the sides here on the Alma wings, and then a V berth up front, which is much more secluded up here. I'll show you what you're looking at, and it's got its own hatch and stuff. So there you go, another V berth. So I mean, all the effort and work I'm putting into my boat, it's gonna sleep 5 berths. This one already has 4. Now, more than likely, you'd probably only want to use 2 or 3 of them, but still, all of that. And the only disadvantage to me is it's about 3 inches short of headroom in here for me. Now, it's not so bad because in the galley I can stand up straight, but for the rest of the boat, I have to hunch. And honestly, if I wasn't doing the YouTube, I'd just do this. This is so much simpler because, you know, for like 2 or 3 weeks worth of work, installing an electrical system and like bumping it up to my standard and stuff, and doing a little clean on this boat, because like that's it, that's all it would need. You know, you could still get a couple seasons out of the rigging and the sails just as you're learning, and then, you know, as you get money again, you could invest to like get nicer sails and get nicer rigging and all of that more expensive stuff like autopilot and stuff. You can get all that eventually.
We're there.
All right, before we get started with the wood, we gotta load some hay.
Hello.
So this is maple burl, stuff of the trunk that, my most recent experience with hardwood has been, you know, really nice. So we're going for a hardwood table, even though everything else is cedar. But it's a book match pair, so they're sliced right next to one another, and it creates a nice little symmetry right here in the middle. So these 2 ends will get glued together. We'll use the joiner to make a nice clean. I want to keep this face so the width is like roughly 24 inches, which is really tight right here and here, but not so important for it to be perfectly square.
Stack hay.
We're gonna go stack some more hay.
Gotta oil her up.
And what about you in a boat? You have to oil up your metal like every week.
Because of all the salt.
All the salt. And then unfortunately it's not like I can clear coat this and paint this because it needs to be like machine exposed metal.
Yeah,
to
because
be
you
like
can't
perfectly
see
straight,
straight,
and perfectly
yeah.
everything. Like if I put paint on it, it'll mess with the jingle jangle.
It looks pretty glossy to me. Glossy planer.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of
Sand.
live edge to play with here.
Yeah, this looks
So
good.
we're gonna
though.
have to figure out how best to either use it or cover it or remove it. But I know that I'm gonna want some like nice add-ons to my table. Like I'd really like a power connection and a couple of little things like that. A wireless charger built into it would be really cool. So,
Oh yeah, like cut a little hole. at the bottom.
yeah, but just like embed it like just underneath the surface.
Yeah,
It'd be
still
cool.
work.
So anyway, this is just a good point of reference. Plus these are bowed a little bit, so I got to figure out how to flatten them out and how to do all of that.
It's this right here. It's really nice.
Yeah, so
Kind of looks like an elephant face.
run this bit through the plane. So I think what we're gonna do is start measuring and figuring out where we want this thing to sit.
For the show, I get too many books.
Two
Like,
halves.
I just have everything.
Fold
on
it.
Kindle. Like,
Okay.
Store it for another 6 months before I use it again.
Yeah.
Specialized tools!
I know, it works for nothing else.
It's like literally does nothing else.
That sucks.
It's great though. Thank you, Uncle Terry, for giving me
Oh,
that
that's sick, yeah.
amazing biscuit cutter, joiner. It's not a joiner. What's it called?
Terry's
It's got
the
the name
bomb.
written right on it. Plate joiner.
It's one of those things that like it's super necessary, but
I mean,
people don't think about getting it because it's like a small
it's
tool.
not super necessary. You can build a jig, and people use doweling, which is another popular one. So
Yeah,
they
the
make like
little
a jig, and then drill holes, and then put the doweling in and glue them together that way. That's a really
It's
popular
like
one.
IKEA furniture, right?
Yeah, something like
They do.
with like way more work, and just as likely to tear your family apart.
Yep. Or relationship or whatever.
Now, there are a lot of different, and I have trouble in it, and I'll ship it.
Very stylish, comfortable, and go with everything.
Oh yeah, it's so gush and soft. Oh, it is really nice. Come here. Hello, puppy. She's so cute. You give me a good sneeze there. Did you get it out? Honey.
Because no woman will ever feel that her life sacrifices have received their due.
All right, so the epoxy's curing up, and we'll have to get to this next episode, but 2 halves of the sweet, juicy table pie. Pretty excited about this. I love working with hardwood,
Looks
and
fucking good.
I think it's gonna look really, really good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Just want to give another big shout out to Get Out Stay Out's grill. A huge improvement over their last grill, so I'm very, very happy with that. It's even got this, like, check this. They ship it out with the travel bag. We're talking about how it's a little bit bigger and clunkier because it can't be folded in half. And there are other alternatives that can kind of like roll up or do other things like that. But having used this one repeatedly, well, not this one, but the previous version, I'm going to go ahead and say that if it folded in half, probably wouldn't last, you know, as long as it has. So, pretty happy with that design, even though it is, you know, about the size of a backpack. Still very usable. So I'll include a link in the description. You guys can check it out. And next episode, make a table?
Yeah.
All right, we'll make a table
Why not?
next
Just
episode.
whip a table out.
Just whip it up.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
easy enough.
Good night, guys.